Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daniel Hendo and today I'll be shedding some light on the importance of flexibility training in any sporting program, whether it be at the elementary level or right up to the professional level. Before we get into the body of this coaching seminar, I want to quote an introductory paragraph from the American Sport and Education Program which states, "Physical training and sport performance can be very hard on athletes' muscles, often decreasing flexibility. Proper care of muscles is vital to long-term success. Athletes should work on flexibility every day of the year because flexibility increases range of motion and improves performance. Warming up by increasing blood flow to the muscles improves flexibility by 20%, and proper stretching will increase the flexibility further. Muscles also like to be cooled down after a hard workout with slow stretching so they can return to their relaxed, elongated state. Decreased flexibility from hard training and playing and a lack of proper flexibility training are leading causes of muscle injuries. The less flexibility an athlete has, the more likely that athlete will develop a muscle strain. A lack of flexibility in the back and hamstring muscles, along with weak abdominal muscles, is a common cause of back pain that humbles the toughest of athletes. I'll be discussing 3 main points as to why flexibility training is important. These are the things that I want you to leave with today. Firstly, flexibility increases range of motion and improves performance. Secondly, decreased flexibility leads to muscle injuries. And lastly, how you as a coach can test your athlete's flexibility. So I'll ask you the question, how does flexibility help increase muscles' range of motion and improve performance? Stretching is used to increase the length of your muscles, which increases the range of motion in a person's joints. Stretching specifically lengthens the connective tissue surrounding the muscle fibers. Regular stretching several times a week can help a person maintain mobility and a greater freedom of movement. Improved performance is achieved through stretching because it makes movement easier when taking part in sport. An athlete's movement will be more fluid, which will not limit them in performing specific actions. The next question I have is, how do muscle injuries occur? Muscle injuries occur due to a tear in the muscle cells because the muscle was contracted too quickly and probably was not elongated from stretching or warm from light exercise. A USA track and field research study was conducted on 2,729 athletes before participating in a run. The results showed that there were no significant differences between the group that stretched before the run and the group that did not stretch. So why do some research studies discredit stretching and its ability in the prevention of injuries? The reason for this is because the study described and similar ones only conducted studies on people who perform stretching for a few minutes before an event. In order to reap the benefits of stretching, a stretching program has to be followed for a few weeks. This is why the study mentioned is not an accurate reflection of stretching. So how can coaches test their athletes' flexibility? Coaches have 2 tests recommended by the American Sport and Education Program, which are the sit and reach test and the back scratch test. The sit and reach test is used to test flexibility in the hips, hamstring, and lower back. The back scratch test is used to test the flexibility in the arms and the shoulders. The first step in the sit and reach test is to obtain a yardstick or meter stick and tape it firmly to the ground at both ends. Next, put a piece of tape over the 15-inch mark to indicate the starting point. Next, have your athletes complete a warm-up following 3 phases that last 3 to 5 minutes each. The first phase is an aerobic warm-up and should be completed by light jogging. The second phase is stretching and should be completed by stretching the muscle groups used in your particular sport. The third phase is technical skill warm-up and should be completed by practicing the activities of your specific sport to exercise the specific muscles. Next, get your athletes to take off their shoes and make them sit in a position with the yardstick between their legs with the zero end toward the body. A heel should be placed on the tape that was used to indicate the 15-inch mark, and their feet should be about 12 inches apart and pointed up. Next, instruct the athlete to reach forward as far as possible with the fingertips on the yardstick. Athletes can exhale and lower their head to get a good stretch. Athletes should not bounce forward as they as this may lead to injury. The stretch should be slow and controlled. Athletes must keep their eyes straight the entire time. Bending of the knees gives an inaccurate measure of flexibility. The athlete should have their hands side by side throughout the stretch. Finally, each athlete should be given 3 attempts. Use the best attempt as their final score. Round the score to the nearest quarter inch or half centimeter. If an athlete scores under 15 inches, that means they could not touch the bottom of their feet. The table at the bottom of the slide can be used for evaluation of the sit and reach test scores. The first step in the back scratch test is the athlete should be standing with the left arm behind the back and the right arm over the shoulder. Next, the athlete should reach as far up their back as possible with the left hand palm up. The right hand is palm down, trying to reach far down the back as possible. Try to align the middle fingers of the athlete. If the fingers do not touch, measure the distance between them to the nearest half inch or centimeter and record the distance as a negative number. If the fingers just touch, the score received is a 0. If the fingers overlap, measure the distance the middle fingers overlap each other and record the distance as a positive number. Each athlete should be given 3 attempts and the best attempt should be used as the final score. Repeat the test by switching the arms, left arm over shoulder and right arm behind the back. Give each athlete 3 attempts and record the best attempt. There is no standard set to evaluate your athlete's scores. However, once having tested all your athletes, you can determine what an acceptable score is. In summary, the 3 things to remember is that flexibility training can increase muscles, range of motion and improve performance. Decreased flexibility leads to muscle injuries, so it is important for your athletes to stretch regularly, and flexibility testing is important to track your athletes' progress and help them improve certain areas if necessary. I have also attached a link at the bottom of the slide that has a comprehensive list of stretches that you can look through when creating stretching programs for your athletes. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation, and I leave here today feeling more educated on flexibility training. Thank you.